Welcome back to Prehistoric Reviews. Today we're going to be taking a look at Loki Season 2 and just overall general just Loki the show as a whole. Because it was actually very much one of the many MCU shows that I very much did like when it was popping up. So waiting for Season 2 felt like it was an eternity. I thought it wasn't going to happen, but I knew it was going to happen at some point, and I've managed to finally see it, watch through all of season two, and very much kind of just give the whole show kind of just that the whole of it, essentially just review both of it because it's sort of concluded. It's very much now a very open ended show where very much anything of it now can just happen. So it was honestly very much one of my favorites. So I thought it'd be proper to, since Loki season 2 is now just ended, I think it was better to give my kind of full thoughts on just the entirety of this show. One of the best things about the show is the theme of fate versus free will. This idea has actually been explored in the show many numerous ways through loops or Boruses, what life could have been, the value of life, chaos versus order, and they explore all that in such a variety of ways that you don't often think until it does end up hitting you. Very much this show very much does have that theme with integrated within it, and it very much explores all the different types, and each character exudes different type of what you accept. This is a determined path or free will, and it very much gets explored as the the pros and cons of each one of them, and what's the ultimate fate for just everybody by the end. What's just what's their answer, what's their resolve, what do they want to do, live, or do they just want to work internally. The set design of the TVA is still very much amazing. I really just love the overall design of it, just how it very feels like something so nostalgic and yet something very much familiar in some ways. It's very just a very good set. I know a lot of people may not like it because it's sometimes a bit of a boring set to do because it's very dim lights. There's a lot of brown, beige, and very plain colors and all that. But I really think it just stands out as just something completely different out of the entire realm. Which, I mean, it's meant to be that way. So you're obviously going to get that feeling, but it's just a really nice set design. It feels like it's so infinite, that there's so much more to the TVA and very much what it very much represents in as a whole. Which does kind of lead into my first minor criticism, is that although there is time travel in the show, we don't often go to very certain points in various episodes. We still do to a certain degree, but there's not a whole lot of jumping through time to this point and then this point and then this point, and we very much stay there for one episode to the next. It's mainly just that we kind of stick with the main thing of the TVA and some certain locations, and we only move to other locations mainly just for the plot. And I feel that was kind of a missed opportunity in this show, because I really would have liked it to just see things just work out really differently when they are just going back in time and doing all these other things. I guess it was probably just because they were on the constraints, which I'll get to a bit. That's actually one of the bigger criticisms, but I'll get to the end. But I feel there was kind of a missed opportunity to do a lot more with all of going back in time, or going visiting certain places and certain things, and experimenting around with it. I feel that was a fun missed idea that I thought the show would very much improve on. But unfortunately, there was nothing much more you could do about it. So what we got was what we got. But I'm still satisfied with it. To be fair, the characters are actually very well done. It's a very small group, but you do end up caring for a lot of small group. And every actor in this show very much did this to their fullest extent, and they nailed it. They all very much nailed it. Owen Wilson from Mobius, Keihu Kwan as OB, Wamani Mosaku, I believe I got that right, as B-15, and Sophia Di Martino as Sylvie. Everybody in this all did fantastic. They all very much did super well in this. They very much conveyed their characters as how they very much are, and you very much like feel for each and every single one of them. Honestly, like every dynamic in them is very natural, feels very good, and Tom Hiddleston, I think, was his performance of Loki in this of like a of this character is very much well done. We literally get to know the god of mischief so much more than we initially had thought, and and the ending honestly kind of like surprised me a lot, considering of how that this was the direction that they were going to go with it. And although it's a bittersweet ending, I I really do really like how that this series very much ended up starting, and how it very much ended because of it. And I am very much looking forward as to what's going to happen with Loki in the near future, and very much how it's all going to like essentially just culminate into like Avengers, Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars, which they're trying to shift away from Kang, which I don't know if that's a good idea as of right now. That would just be a total fucking waste. But I honestly do very much look forward to this as of right now, and I very much do love Loki. I'm a huge fan for him. He's like one of the many favorite MCU characters that I very much root to really like, not only as a villain but even here, also finding him becoming a hero as well. And as far as like for the rest of my criticisms, aside from just like questions like to comprehend a lot of the timelines and the multiverse, and how some characters probably need a lot more time to fully flesh them out, like Ravonna Renslayer and General Dox. This is mainly a complaint that I have with the show, which is the complaint that I very much have, which came up with like constructions of it, which is the 6 episode format. I starting to really hate the 6 episode format. I didn't have a problem with it beforehand, but I'm starting to see that it's a glaring issue of how that 6 episodes is just not enough. Like even if it's extended to like an hour an hour at best, it's still not enough to explore like almost everything about it. And I did very much see that they were very much are trying to fix that, but they have to really ditch the 6 episode format because it constrains them to so much into it. Like there's only just like plot, and like you can't like divulge into like a longer B plot for it. And that was kind of a lacking thing, because like characters do interact, but they most don't interact enough in that time and in that that space. So we very much only get to kind of just like only very much go straight forward within like the plot, which is a very good plot. But I would very much would have liked some other stuff like we also could have done as well during a lot of it. Like I feel like it very much feels like that Loki as a show would have benefited a lot more if it was like had much more episodes into it, and I honestly wouldn't have been as like I guess ticked off, because I mean I still enjoyed the show, but it very much just that the 6 episodes just episode format does not work. It does not work in any regard because it just feels so completely short, and it feels like it should have had like a lot more to it. But they did what they can. They did their best with it, and I'm still glad with how the show very much ended off as a result. So. Giving Loki a percentage, I'm giving it a solid 95. This was Tom Hiddleston's best performance of this character, and I cannot wait what they're going to do with him. And that's another review. Bye bye.